All right. So, hello, Matthew O'Connor. Welcome to you. Happy New Year.
Hi, happy New Year to you. How's everything?
Good. I'm looking out at the snow we got. Just,
Me too. I can see it.
it looks pretty and not too much to have to shovel, which is nice.
That's true. It's a little slushy. I saw this earlier. It's a little slushy out, so
Yeah.
maybe
And
it'll melt faster. I don't know.
maybe it'll rain and it'll be unnecessary to shovel.
Absolutely. We hope. We hope.
So, how are things going with you? And tell me a little bit about your creative life at this point and what's going on.
Creative life is just basically right now a little slow. Work, a lot of regular work, and I just came off of the winter was the fall was nice. I got to do a reading at the Southampton Arts Center with the very talented Michael Disher, and we did War of the Worlds, which was great. And I have auditioned. I've been auditioning. I'm waiting to hear back on two projects that came my way, which please,
Yeah.
please, please. And coming up in February, I am doing love letters at the Southampton Cultural Center with Bonnie Grice and
Oh,
the Boots on the Ground Theater.
excellent.
Yeah,
Keeping your
so
keeping your hand in there, keeping
I
busy.
try to get in as much as I can with my crazy work schedule.
Your day
So
job. Yeah.
yeah,
Which is you do want to share what that is with folks or
sure. I dispatch. I'm a emergency communications dispatcher for East Hampton Village Police right now.
and you've been at that a long time, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I have 18 years. I
Oh,
used to be in Southampton. Now I'm over at East Hampton Village. So it's stressful, busy,
yeah. Yeah.
just to say the least. The two words you want to use, you don't want to use. You never want to say it's quiet because that's like the bad luck word.
Yeah, right. As soon as you say that, stuff starts happening,
Yeah.
right?
When you're at work and you say the Q word, people look at you and they want to like stop. Shh, don't say anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Matthew, I ask this of everyone. If you could wave a realistic magic wand, where would you like your um what would you like your life to look like in the next 6 months to a year? Like um whether it's your creative life, your relationships, your health, just a picture of your life. What would you love to have happen?
What would I love to happen? I would love to land every audition I've ever done. Uh, and I would just love just to be uh, in a super creative place where I didn't have to, you want to be a little stress free in life. Everybody does,
Mhm.
but there's stresses in life, whether it's the
Yeah.
home or the work or
Right.
whatever it is. But I mean, I would imagine, I think stress free would be the best, and just to have everybody wants everything to go their way.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to just have it all,
Mhm.
and you want to have your cake, eat it too. Obviously, that's not realistic, but if that was a wish and a wand I could wave and go,
Have a realistic magic
yes,
wand
just
and all things, working out if money, time, age, um, educational background, all of that were not a factor. What
yeah.
you love, I mean, you say every audition. I mean, is there a specific
I would love to be acting
role
at
would
every chance I got.
you like to
You
be
know,
acting
I
as a full-time job?
yeah, I would love that to be my full time job. That would be the one of the greatest things ever. I can only hope. I hope that would be the wish. That would be it.
Yeah.
Wave the wand and work every chance I got. as an actor.
And do you have a preference on stage, film, TV? No
No
preference.
preferences whatsoever. Everything is I've done things on stage. I've done stuff with you, as you
Oh,
know. That's how we met.
oh.
Uh, but I've done some television work. I've done uh, film work. I've been
Share
so
some of your
I've
favorite
done
projects that you've been on.
how
Some of
many?
share some of your favorites.
Um, there's a bunch of favorites. Every theater show I've done, which is out here on the East End,
Yeah.
not on Broadway. I would love to do, that would be
Yeah.
a highlight.
Yeah.
I have done off Broadway twice, which was amazingly fun. But all the shows I've done on stage have been out here on the East End, whether it's at the North Fork Theater or the Southampton Cultural Center or Guild Hall, the
Mm,
Hampton Theater Company in Quogue. So everything's an experience because you get to either meet new people
mhm,
or you get to work with some of the same people now who become friends, and that community out here is it's so vast, it's so rich,
mm,
and it's such a lot of fun, and you never stop learning. You always learn something. There's always a takeaway,
mhm.
and you get to reestablish connections. Like you and I have done at least two shows together.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, two shows. We met doing Shakespeare, Comedy of Errors,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we did the Actor's Nightmare together.
Mhm.
And so over the course of, wow, almost, I can't even do the math,
Yeah. How many years?
15 maybe or more years,
Yeah.
and then I see you, now we're doing this together, and I see you come to my shows or I come to a show you're in.
Yeah.
It's that just community, and there's so many talented people out here.
Mm,
It's If I could take everybody out here, talented is a reality one, and I can do my own thing and make my own work, I would have so many people that I can draw from and go, hey, come on, let's go do this, let's go do that.
yeah.
Um, so we've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun. Um, the TV and film wise, I've gotten to meet some people you see on TV, which you walk in and you're a little starstruck, but you got to be like, that's on the inside. You're like, but on
Right.
the outside, you have to be like, oh, hi, how are you? You
Mhm.
know, play it cool, but
Yeah.
they're normal. They're regular folks, and they're very open. I've had several big shot people just say, hey, you're an actor just like us. Don't discount that just because you aren't doing everyday thing, an everyday acting thing, or you come here and you get this one co-star gig on a TV show or a day player in a film. You're an actor just like we are. There's no difference, and
Right.
that's encouraging because it gives me hope. It's something to shoot for.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as credits you may want to share, if people were to say, all right, what has Matthew been in? I mean, obviously, your resume's out there, but
Yeah.
highlights in the TV or film.
Um, well, I I think the most, I guess, famous one would be the film The Irishman with
Mm.
Martin Scorsese, and I got to meet Martin Scorsese, which was, yeah, like,
Amazing.
yeah, that was fantastic, and that's right in the middle of the film. You see me on screen, and this big old mug is on this giant screen. I was like, wow, that's a big head.
Yeah, right?
that's that's a big nugget right there on screen. But it was such a great time.
Yeah.
I got to go all the way into Yonkers for that, which I'm from the Bronx, so I knew where I was. I was like, oh, this is great, So, uh, and I've gotten to meet celebrities like William H. Macy and Diane Keaton,
Mm,
uh, Dean Winters, Gabriel Byrne.
yeah.
Just again, just very and they're all just very regular. They're normal.
Right?
Uh,
Just having
yeah,
more breaks, right?
yeah. It's just been so much fun. I went to Manhasset and shot a TV show for Apple TV called Hello Tomorrow with Billy Crudup.
Yep.
Uh, so it's always something. It's almost like little every one of those is like a little new adventure,
Yes.
and they're all so gracious. They really are. They're just, hey, welcome to the set. Uh, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel was which is on Amazon Prime, and I got to be in an episode of that, and I had to go 2 days in a row. And the second day I went, the crew, just the crew themselves, welcome. Hey, Matthew, welcome back. Hey, how are you? The director. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and
It's
then that's why
family,
you want
right?
to do it every day.
Yeah.
You
It's like
want that environment.
a little family, right?
Exactly. So it's
Every
almost
time you get into whether it's a theater for a play or a film set or a TV set, each one of them, I feel like, is its own little family.
exactly. And for that short period of time, rehearsal and the whole show, you get to spend time and get to know people, or and again, reacquaint with friends,
Hmm.
especially out, for you and I doing theater out here is community theater, and you get to just reestablish connections and make friendships and bonds and inside jokes and fun, and then it goes away, and it's a little fleeting and a little like melancholy, some bittersweet,
Yeah.
but you always look forward to the next thing. Well,
Yes.
what's next? What can I do next? you know so it's always, it makes me happy.
Yeah, me too.
you know
And I think that is a common thread I've been hearing as I'm talking to different people is the connection.
Absolutely.
What's so
We need
important.
that connection. We as human beings need that connection with other people, your friends, your family, your coworkers, anything like that. You need that one-on-one, you know, get to know you, get to know me,
Mhm.
whether, I, I mean, there was a time when I was doing a lot of theater, and, my wife always jokes, oh, I'm a theater widow,
Yes.
because I'm like, I come home from work, I'm like, I got to go rehearse,
Yeah.
and you're doing that for like, 3-4 weeks, then you do the show. And next, it's just, then it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, whoop,
Yep.
you're like, oh, all
Yeah.
right.
There's a little mourning period when that happens, right? Unless you have
You're
something
like,
to go to.
I don't have to do this Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So if you could do this full time and you were stress free about it and this was your career, this was what you did for a living. If you had everything just the way you would love to have it, what would that do for you?
It would just make me happy. It would make me, it's just something that, look, they always say the grass is always greener. So, I'm sure that comes with its own headaches and price and stressors itself.
Mhm.
And I understand that. It's not like I'm some young kid with stars in his eyes. You know, I went into this little journey. I call it my journey because I still work a regular job
Mhm.
with my eyes open. Do I daydream? Absolutely. I would never lie about that. I've never lied about that when I talk to people all the time. I pipe dream all the day. Wow, I get that one thing. I get that, that thing that sends me out there.
Mhm.
That'd be wonderful. You know, so, it would just make me happy. It's something I like to do. I like to entertain people. I like to make people laugh. Or it, and it's. I think that's any actor. I think. I mean, it's my opinion.
Mhm.
I want to be able to convey that, whether it's being comedic or serious or dramatic, and you want to convey that. I want to be able to let the audience know, hey, this person, this character makes me sad, or this person makes me angry, or this person makes me laugh. This character that I've given. And I think one of the first time I ever did a show, and I was a bad guy, a villain,
Mhm.
And he comes off in the first act comedic and buffoonish, but then the second act, he has a turn and he comes off with this like surprise. And I came uh out of the play, in community theater, everybody like mills around to see the actors. You want to see your friends and say hi. And this woman she comes over and she goes, I just have to say, you were such a bastard. And I went, and at first I was like taken back. And then she went, but it was great.
Yeah.
And then I realized at that moment, I said, wow, yeah, I did my job.
Did your job,
I
exactly. That.
did my job. That was like the first time I really kind of, the light bulb went, oh, okay. And then one of my friends, once I really started doing it, one of my friends came to see the show. And later on, he was talking to me and he goes, when you got out there, I saw you come on stage, I kind of like chuckled because it was my friend Matt.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you were not you. And you
Mhm.
were somebody else. And then he said he became like almost like he was like, wow, that like I went away and this character came up for him. And he was like, oh, and that means I did my job. If I can do that, and that's part of what we do. It's part of what the director gives you,
Mhm.
you know, and it makes me happy to do that. It's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah.
fun. And I know I'm working, and I know I'm making these people who pay to see the show that we're in. It's worth it then.
Yeah.
So
What's the best part about it?
I guess it's a little escapism.
Mhm.
You get to put your you get to put your costume on. You
Mhm.
embody this character. But I think every character, as far as even a little tiny the co-star roles I've done, I always try to think I put a little piece of myself in it.
Mhm.
What do I how do I relate to that person? What does Matthew like about this one person, this character, whether he's a bad guy or a good guy? I think one of my most challenging, which was amazing, when I did 12 Angry Men at the Southampton Cultural Center way back when.
Mhm.
And I was juror number 2, who was a very quiet, very introverted character. And
Mhm.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So I had to really, exercise that,
Yeah.
ability and say, okay, I gotta, I'm this and I gotta be this,
Mhm.
and Michael Disher directed that. And I remember I would sit with him and we would talk about this and he told me, I purposely put you in here to do this because this is an exercise for you
Challenge.
to, to, to act,
Yeah.
to do this.
Mhm.
So, but we all bring a piece of ourselves to I feel we do,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, and that's part of what makes that character whole, I would imagine. Right on the page, it's a two-dimensional character. You as the actor, I think, puts that third dimension in. What do
Mhm.
you bring into it?
Yes.
So,
Agreed. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think could be slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from having this stress-free, happy place to escape and create these characters that bring you connection and um, to your fellow actors and crew and the audience as you evoke a response from them? What kinds of things are could be slowing you down, standing in the way, or stopping you from having all of that?
Um, well, really, there's really nothing except your own self. Sometimes we end up getting in our own way. Uh, and whether that's, work stress and it gets the better of you, if you can't get out of your own way, get out of your own head,
Mhm.
you know, when I started doing this, and I'll say that I've always wanted to do it, even when I was a little kid, but I never approached it. I never
Yeah.
never thought that, because what got in my way then was like, I'll never they'll never cast someone like me.
Mhm.
You know, they're looking for, you know, the people you see on the magazines. You want these, they're buff, they're good looking, they're gorgeous. And then, when I moved out here, and that's the story, and I love this. This is a great tale. I kept saying to my wife, I could do this. I could do that. I would watch TV shows. I could do that. That, you know. And finally, she just got fed up and said, well, prove it. Show me.
Mhm.
Show me you can do it. So, we get in our own way.
Yeah.
I used to think they'll never cast me in anything. But
Mhm.
then you take that turn and you realize, you know what? For every no, there's a yes.
Right.
So so for me, okay, Matthew, stop being negative about it and go, go for it. Throw it out there. I've said it a million times. It's like you throw spaghetti on the wall. If it sticks, take it. I never thought that. So when I turned that idea in my head around and I started doing it, I literally went to work, and one of my coworkers, my dispatcher friends, said, "Hey, I saw this ad in the local paper for an audition, and I
Mhm.
thought of you."
Oh,
And I
wow.
went, "Wow, what a coincidence." I had this conversation with my wife. Then, a day later, this
Yeah.
this woman, my friend, says, "Here, I saw this. I thought of you." Well, okay, that there's a sign. you know.
Yeah, words are powerful.
Yeah, and there's been auditions I haven't gotten where I've been like, man, I should have got that, or been disappointed.
Mhm.
But you got to move on. You go, moving on. Next,
Yeah.
what's next?
Yeah.
You're always, and again, if I just gave up the first time I didn't get something,
Mhm.
maybe you and I wouldn't be at the Zoom meeting. We don't know. So you just got to keep on, pushing and putting it out there. Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Be brave. And that's with no matter what you do. No matter what you do, not just acting. Anything you do, go out for it. Because what's the worst thing can happen is you don't get it. Okay. Are you going to die? You're not going to die. You'll
Mhm.
be disappointed.
Mhm.
But, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off and start all over again. That's it. And I can always say, if nothing ever came of it, I can say, hey, you know what? I gave that a shot. I
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah. Is
So
there anything else besides your own thoughts about it getting in the way or slowing
well,
you of achieving what it is you want, of having the full-time career?
it's just perseverance. You got to just persevere. You gotta rise above your doubts. You gotta rise above the stresses of life. And I'm not saying ignore those things, but you have to deal with everything. You have to maintain, a balance with your family and with your friends and with your work. And I don't think having fantasy or daydream, that's great,
Yeah.
but don't lose sense of reality. Don't, it's not like the first TV thing I ever got or the first film thing I ever got. I didn't come home and go, all right, honey, that's it. I'm packing up and I'm moving to California and I'm gonna be a star. No, no. And the case in point is after doing theater and my first play, those people encouraged me to keep going.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh wow, this is great. These are actors who've done it before. I'm new. And then I started looking around and I emailed the cultural center. And again, I go right back to Michael Disher. He emailed me back because I saw you in that play. I'd like to have you in this.
Mhm.
You know, and that's reality. And then and it's like, oh, it's so much fun. Next, I'm doing Shakespeare in Greenport.
Yes.
And then it's the next thing, and then I started looking online. I started doing student films and non-union films, and then I got a SAG card,
Mm.
and I landed a show on HBO, Boardwalk Empire. I got an episode on Boardwalk Empire, and I was so high
Uh-huh.
off that day, and I
Yeah.
had to go to Brooklyn. I did my filming, and I did the day, and I met the stars of the show over there. And I'm coming home, and I remember I called home, and I called my wife, and I was like, "Oh my God, it was so much fun!" And I saw the set, and I did blah blah blah. And she said, "Yeah, that's great. On your way home, do you mind picking up some milk and we need some eggs?" So and I say that because it's a very funny story, but it keeps you grounded in reality.
Right.
That's real.
That's
Yeah,
your day
I
job
got
is
to
one thing, and
right. I got to play make believe,
yeah,
but you know what? There's, you know, zone it in.
yeah.
You're not, I'm no, it doesn't make me better than anybody else because I do something that you don't do.
Mm.
Or I got to do this today, but you're back on your road. You're back on, hey, and now there's a lot of times where, I'll do something, whether it's a show, a theater show or something. And I'm thinking, I have to work tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to be at work on a day shift tomorrow,
Mhm.
but I had my moment of fun and I had that joy, you
Mhm.
know, It- and that's how I look at it. Keep it's nice to have your eye on a prize, but keep focused on what you're doing. Don't lose sight of what's happening in front of you.
Yeah, to make the most of the moments that you're in, and
Right,
whatever that is, whether it's the joy of something you're absolutely in love with,
right,
or taking care of children or a spouse or a loved
right,
one, or mowing the lawn, whatever.
right.
It's just to be in those moments, each
Yeah,
their own, because whether you're on a set of a film or a stage, you have your own set at home that you play,
right,
that you're playing a character in
right. We
life.
we we have our own stuff.
We have our roles to play wherever we are.
Right. We
Yeah.
have our own stuff. It's not just, I got to, meet this one or meet that one or work with this one or whatever. Or, we rehearsed today and you get to play make believe. Hey, listen, there's a home life, there's people that, count on me and that I count on, you
Mhm.
know. There's, I worry about, I have a grown daughter, so what's going on? Is she coming home, this weekend or whatever, or what's going on with her, make sure she's okay. Is my wife okay? Oh, my wife's under the weather, but I'm doing something, in Brooklyn, or hey, again, I have to work tomorrow. I can't, you know, you got to just come back to yourself.
Yes. But I also want to ask you, if that were not, if those worries and concerns of having the day job that was just the one that's paying the bills now, if that were not the case, and if you were earning your living as an actor, that's where I'm asking you to go in your mind. What would doing that for a living, what would that do for you? And what's stopping you from having that? And I know you said yourself, getting in your own way and the perseverance to go after it. I mean, is feeling like you have to keep this day job, is that what's stopping you, or is there something else?
No, no, that's not having to keep a day job. It's just, if I could do it every day and that was my job, whether it was a TV show. I mean, you can only hang your hat on, the one thing for so long. You're in that one episode, hey, watch this episode, and that's it. And I'm like, great.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go around going, hey, do you know who I am? I was in episode 2 of this show.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Okay.
It's like, hey, great, good for you.
Yeah.
But if I could do that and keep that going, it would, I guess, I think there's some sort of freedom to it a little bit. But there's stresses to that too. It's not, everything's not all
Mm.
rosy, even for that world. You have
Yeah.
your own, then it's another stressor because now you got to keep this going.
Right.
Now this is now your career, and yeah, you enjoy it, but now it's like, oh,
Where's the
I
next
now I
thing?
gotta, now that stressor takes place.
Hmm.
And I get that. I mean, if I had that opportunity though, and I was super successful, you reach that level.
Hmm.
Like you see these people on TV, they had the award show last night, the Emmys were on, and
Yeah.
you can, dress up. But I think if I would just take care of my home, I would take care of my family, I would make sure that, my wife and daughter would not have to worry,
Hmm.
you know, and you want to have a little disposable income, I guess. But I
Yeah.
would also try and give back to my community where I live.
Hmm.
I wouldn't put myself in some ivory tower. I would still be me. I
Yeah.
like to think I would still be me.
I
I
believe you.
don't want to, you know, I don't want to become that cliche of like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm fancy. No,
Yeah.
no.
That's
You
the,
still got to be true to yourself. you know. And I gotta tell you, if you've never met my wife Barbara, she keeps you grounded in reality. She knows what's what. So she'd
yeah.
be the first one to be like, all right, let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You know. But yeah, I would love to be able to do for others, to be more philanthropic.
Hmm.
You know, uh, right again, I go right back to the community theater out here.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to do things for the theaters I've worked with here: North Fork Theater, Northeast Stage,
Mhm.
the culture,
Southampton.
Center Stage, Boots on the Ground, all these great, because the community circles. It's its own little universe right there, and you see people, and I got so many friends. Dan Becker,
Hmm.
Michael Horn, you, uh, Jack Seabury, Bethany Della Pola. She teaches. And just to be able to surround yourself with great people makes me better.
Hmm.
It's like when Michael Jordan played in the NBA,
Yeah.
everybody elevated their game. And when I work with certain people, when I work with anybody, I feel like I'm playing with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I go, wow, that guy's really good. Hey, Joe Palace is really good. Dan Becker's really good. Amy Sponsa, you know, uh, uh, Diana Marbury, Andrew Botsford, Bonnie Grice, Josephine Wild. I'm naming all these local folks,
Hmm.
and I go in and I go, wow, I got to step up my game. I got
Yeah.
to raise myself up to
Hmm.
match them.
Yeah.
And you just always got to push yourself, no matter what it is.
Keep you
And I
growing.
think as an actor, I would try to keep. I always try to keep doing that. So that would be part of the daily for me. You know, who can I be with? Who can I be with that's going to teach me something or raise me up as well? Or how can I raise them up? You know, how can I help them? If I'm an actor giving you a line, how am I going to help Amy's character or help Amy? Either which way. So it's always, you got to share with each other. You got to give and take, and that's in everything, in your marriage and your friendships. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
So
Give and
you know,
take. Yeah. And I think that's especially true when you're doing live theater and you're in front of a live audience and it's you and the other person
yeah,
exchanging lines and
yeah.
got to be listening.
Absolutely. And this, I've done some film, I've done some TV. Theater, by far, I think is the most. I feel more gratified when I do theater, because there is no net. There's no one to say, the king will cut, do it again. You know,
That's right.
there is no cut. It's like you're in it.
Yeah, if somebody's standing out there because they forgot their line, you got to do something to throw them along. So
Absolutely.
get them back.
Yeah, we have to save each other. You
Yeah,
know, they're just you and me out there on stage, and all these people staring at you.
right.
And if I'm like, all right, honey, uh-oh, uh-oh, and you're going, uh-oh.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
and that's also builds camaraderie with each other.
Yes.
You
It,
know, now you're out there together. Hey, we're in it together. Let's do it. And let's give them all the energy we have. If you're not having a good day and we go into a theater show and you've had a bad day at work or whatever, it's my job to boost you up.
Mhm.
Okay, shake it off. Let's go. We gotta entertain these folks, and vice versa. We all do it. We all have to do it.
Yeah. So what do you think are the biggest challenges you faced as an actor?
The biggest challenges as an actor, making it diverse, diversifying yourself. Because again, even though I bring myself, a piece of me into a character, you don't want to be that one note either. Every time I see this guy, he's the same guy.
Mhm.
You got to change it up. And that's just part of the, I guess, part of the process. I've not been to many acting classes or workshops, but stuff I've picked up along the way, stuff I've seen from other actors and see how they do things, or reading reading a book about the process. You got to be diverse. You got to be able to say, okay, now I'm the bad guy, now I'm the good guy, but what makes that person a three-dimensional character? Again, part of me going on into the character on the page. How do you make the bad guy human? How do you make the bad guy likable? There's something.
Yeah.
I mean, when we watch TV, sometimes you see even now, like they have a lot of anti-heroes out there.
Mhm.
And that guy's a bad guy, but I like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you always got to be, for me, anything I've done, you can't make it the same guy. Oh, that's Matt just being Matt. It's Matthew just being Matthew. No, Matthew's being this guy, Fred,
Mhm.
and he's, a nasty guy. But what else is there? Maybe Fred, the character, has, an ailing mother at home.
Mhm.
Put something of yourself in it, but you got to make that person whole. And that's the hardest part. You got to figure it out. Give yourself a backstory. What's Amy? Amy's playing Jane. What's Jane's backstory? So you can bring that to what you're doing. Being diverse, finding that is, like, I think, the hardest part.
Yeah.
You got to really, and when you read a show or a play, if you don't know something, you better learn what that is. So you can then, when you speak it, it's not just empty.
Yeah.
We did The Actor's Nightmare.
Yes.
And The Actor's Nightmare, we did in that play plays within a play, right? Noel Coward, Thomas Beckett,
Mhm.
So I then, like, when I did that play, I read Private Lives. I read A Man for All Seasons,
Mhm.
because if I didn't know what I was talking about, how could I,
Makes sense.
play it? Last January, I did Neil Simon, Come Blow Your Horn. And the younger actors who played my sons, it's set in the 60s.
Mhm.
So they're making references. So I would, we would talk. The direct Josephine Wallace directed that, and we would tell these young people, hey, look that up, so you know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know, it helps.
Yeah.
Because if I don't know what I'm talking about, how can I say it and be truthful about it?
Yeah, it's sort of like when you're doing Shakespeare and you don't understand what you're saying, you have to
Right,
figure out the context at the time
right,
it's written. What did that mean? So that you
right.
understand what you're saying, because if you don't understand what you're saying, the audience sure isn't going to.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to make that sound true.
Right.
You have to make it sound real. And big hint for anybody out there who is afraid of Shakespeare, like I was, no fear Shakespeare,
Yeah.
because they will give you the Shakespearean and what it means
In lay terms.
in
Yeah.
lay terms, which helped me greatly. Because when you go to school and they go, your English class, like, oh, we're gonna read Shakespeare, everybody goes, ah.
Yeah.
But if we had no fear of Shakespeare back when I was in the high school,
Mm,
oh, that would have been a world of difference.
yeah. And reading it out loud, or experiencing it,
Yes,
hearing it out loud, reading it, even I fall asleep reading it. It's just it's so
it's not hard. It's
because
not easy.
it's so dense. But when you speak it, the rhythm of it, and I mean, it's just, he wrote it so that it would be easy for actors to learn. That's why it's got
Absolutely.
that sing song feel to it, the iambic
Yes.
pentameter. And he gave them tools, because they really only had their roles,
Right.
their their speeches. They didn't have everyone else's. And
Absolutely.
just learn this the way it is, and learn it in a day, and then
Right.
we're on.
And it's also the director you have too. Obviously we trust the director,
Yeah.
and that director knows and guides you through it.
Hmm.
And you can't be afraid to speak up and raise your hand. Hey, can you help me out here? I don't understand this. I don't get it.
What am I saying?
Yeah, what am I talking about here? You know. So
Yeah. Um, so if you could turn the challenges around and flow freely toward your goals, what would that do for you?
I what would it be? It would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. And that's that is the goal.
Mhm.
We just a lot of actors I've met, and I know so many, not just out here either. I've met actors in the city. I've met so many great folks, and I guess the goal is always the same. A lot of people who are out there every day, trying to get that one thing. We always try to get that one thing. Is that the positivity.
Mhm.
I hear a lot of people. I belong, to another community type thing. That's that my friend and actor James Ciccone, who has been in several movies and several TV shows, HBO and all that. He has a class, and it's called Show Up to Book the Role.
Mm.
And he teaches you, he shows you the audition process. He brings in casting directors and casting agents, and we all, if we go into whatever, it's a live class in the city or Zoom,
Mhm.
how to do that. But the one thing all those actors that I've seen have in common is you gotta keep on going. You gotta keep on. Don't give up. And a lot of actors I've heard say, "We're going to get there. We're going to get there." And you keep that in mind. You keep chugging at it. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Perseverance, determination, and positivity,
Mhm.
and supporting each other. You're doing something. I'm not going to naysay that. I'm going to go, you go, Amy, go for it. Get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knocking each other down. And again, goes back to just regular life. Knocking anybody down isn't serving a purpose. It's not helping me. It's not
Right.
helping you.
Mhm.
If I say to you, you're going to, hey, listen, go, I'm going to go to the city today. And I go, what are you going to do that for? It's going to be crowded. You're going to have to pay for the train. And I make it all negative, negative, negative. what does that do for you?
Yeah.
It's going to make you negative. It doesn't do anything. And what does it do for me? Nothing.
Right.
But if I go, hey, have a great time, go check out this restaurant, or hey, I know this great place. If you go in this neighborhood, is a great play, is a great show, theater, blah blah blah. If I give you something positive and hopeful,
Yeah.
you're gonna, and that's in the acting community too. I see another actor doing something or a role that I didn't get. I don't get mad. I go, cool, good for them, great, good for you, go for it. Hey, I had an audition today. We all post on social media. I had an audition today.
Yeah.
Go get that. Break a leg. Do well.
Yeah, because I feel so often there's this feeling of competition, that we're fighting against each other for these limited amounts of roles that
Right.
are out there. But I I don't think it does a a service to each other to approach it that way, because
Right.
what's meant for me cannot be taken away from me.
Correct.
What role, I mean, you look at so many times, you hear these stories all the time of a particular director wanted a certain actor for a role that turned out to be someone else playing it,
Right.
and it became this blockbuster thing. But if they had not been the one to play it, if the original person had been, it would have been a completely different movie, show, whatever, and it may not have had the success it had if that other.
Right. Absolutely.
So you just
I've
can't,
auditioned.
what's
It,
sent to you cannot fail to come to you.
exactly. I've auditioned for things where and I say this a lot to people. They could have a role that describes you to a T.
Mhm.
From your height, your hair color, your eye color, your build, the whole 9 yards. Hey, that guy is that guy's a guy from, oh, he's from the Bronx and he's 6 feet tall. He has brown hair, and oh my God, he's my age. I'm right in the age range. And you go and you audition, and I've done this, and it's happened. It comes on paper. You're like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And you go in the audition room, and not everybody's a 55-year-old white guy who's overweight. You got a thin black man or a short Asian man, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then you don't get it, and you watch. If I watched on TV, I'm like, oh, they hired an Indian guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you scratch your head. You go,
Yeah.
okay. So it's and even locally theater, either you're not tall enough, you're too tall, your eyes are not blue enough, they're too blue, you're not thin enough, you're not fat enough.
Mhm.
It's like it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, and you could
You
remind
just
them of someone that they don't like.
right. You just got to go, and it's also the director or the producers. They, I realize they have a vision of something too, and they put it together. They put you and I in a room together. And yeah, listen, we know each other, but maybe those two characters, as you and I, aren't connecting.
Yeah.
So now they take me out and they put another guy in there, and that works.
Mhm.
That guy might not look like me,
Yeah.
but it works. It's something, and that's up for the director. He has to make that determination,
Yeah.
and sometimes a solo audition doesn't really work well. Sometimes an open audition might be better because that director can put people up on the stage. Oh, Amy, you work with Dan. Dan, you work with Rebecca, and you put. And another piece of advice I've gotten, and I'll throw another name, a local theater actress out here, actor Rebecca Idana. She said to me, "There's always there's always that role. There's the piece of the puzzle.
Mhm.
There's a puzzle. Either you fit it or you don't, but there's always you're going to go somewhere. And if they're calling you, and if they keep on saying, hey, come in, come in, come in, that means there's something there for you.
Yes.
You got to find it.
Mhm.
They have to find it. It's about matching the two, you know,
Yeah,
and you got to keep on going, keep on going.
yeah, that's it. That is one of the challenges, right? Is to just
Right,
not give up, to keep striving and putting yourself out there, even when it's it feels futile,
yeah,
to know that you would not be called and feel pulled to do this if there were not something there for you.
right, right,
And and to just, well, they say, what is it, like 1 or 2% of the people who call themselves actors are actually making a living doing it.
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
So, uh, and the older you get, the smaller the pool, right?
Yeah,
And so many people drop out. And
right,
yet there are people who decide, who decide when they're older that they want to pursue this. And
right.
um, there are people who didn't make it until much later in life.
Exactly,
And
exactly. And
maybe,
there's always something out there for you, whether, you might never get, that, you know, what we in the world, in this planet call the A-list,
yeah.
but you could be a steady working character actor for years.
Mhm.
And I also I like the community theater because it's a fulfillment. It helps, it satisfies me. I like doing it.
Keeps you using your craft,
And it
certainly.
keeps, yes, it keeps, yeah, because when you're not booking those TV or movie roles, and you're doing theater, at least, it's like going to the gym. You're exercising.
Exactly.
You're still working, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and it still makes me happy. I
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yes.
wish I could do every show. I wish I could do every show.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Split yourself and go to all the different.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what have you found the most valuable about our time together today, Matthew?
You know what? I haven't seen you in a while, so the connection itself is wonderful. Oh, my dog's barking at me.
It's
Uh, the
I
connection
can't even-
itself. I've known you so long, and and that's a good. It's nice to know that I haven't seen you in so long, but it's like I saw you yesterday.
right. We pick up where we left off.
Exactly. It's that, and that's for me the best part. If you can have that rapport with someone, with anyone, like you and I, like I just said, you know what? Then you've made a friend. You have a friend. You
Yes.
know, and that's a good thing. You
Yeah.
know, there's
There,
no awkwardness about it.
there's something about especially the theater community, but I think in the acting community, where we're all in the same boat, sort of.
Exactly.
We understand what it's like to be an actor. So in most cases, we're compassionate with each other and supportive
Right.
of each other. And I would hope continue to lift each other up.
Absolutely. You have to support each other. No matter what, whether you're in the show or auditioning against that person, you just got to keep on being supportive.
Mhm.
Encouraging each other is a key.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure. So, if people want to learn more about you and your um your credits and what you're doing next, do you have a website or do you have
I
something?
I have the acting Facebook page, Matthew F. O'Connor, actor, on Facebook. I have an IMDb page,
Mhm.
again, Matthew F. O'Connor,
Okay.
and Instagram, Matthew F. O'Connor official on Instagram. And I'm always shopping it out there. I'm always throwing stuff out there. You know, if I got something, I put it up on and I promote it. But I promote other, I promote other things too. I promote my friends who are doing stuff. Hey, go see my friend in this play, or go see this band that I know the people, go see these guys. So I'm always doing that. So you can always catch that on social media with me. Absolutely. It's Matthew F. O'Connor on IMDb, Matthew F. O'Connor official on Instagram, and just me, Matthew O'Connor, on regular Facebook, and I can put you right into my acting Facebook page too.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So what's the next thing up for you?
So coming up in February, right around Valentine's Day weekend, 9th, 10th, and 11th of February at the Southampton Cultural Center, Boots on the Ground Theater, Bonnie Grice.
Okay.
Bonnie and I are doing Love Letters by A.R. Gurney.
Nice.
And that's going to be my next show out here locally in Southampton. And then I hope the 2 auditions I did, as always, knock wood,
Yeah.
that those
Fingers
2 things come through for me. That'd be great. And other than that, you'll see me around town.
Well, that's great. I want to thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
And let's keep elevating each other. That's my mission.
Absolutely.
Elevate actors and writers and directors and people who are creating work in the world that helps humanity with telling stories that bring us together.
Entertain people, make people laugh, make people, think, make people, a little escapism never hurts. There's a lot of ills out there.
Yeah.
And just to get a little escapism,
yeah,
a little entertainment, make someone smile, make someone feel good, evoke an emotion.
You never know how much what you're doing is going to impact someone and lift them up.
Absolutely.
Make them feel less alone.
We have an impact on people, regardless. Even if you're not an actor, you have an impact on people. Well, whether you're a coworker and somebody else is having a bad day, or you're a volunteer and you went to somebody's house who's sick or ill, we have an impact.
Yeah.
Me holding a door for somebody, or me being rude to somebody in the supermarket, that's impact somebody. You never know. So
we
lift each other up. We support each other. Not just acting, but every day. And I lose sight of that too a lot of times. I'm not saying it as a preacher. I'm just saying it because I also fall into that. We all fall into that.
Yeah, everyone has their days.
Yeah, absolutely. So
sometimes you're the one giving, and sometimes you're the one receiving.
Right. What's that joke? Either some days you're the statue, and some days you're the pigeon.
I love it.
Something like that.
Well, you made me laugh today, Matthew.
Good. That's good. Thank God. I'm glad. As long as you smile, even if you're, feeling lousy, smile. Yeah. It could be worse.
Amen to that.
That's right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Love Letters, February 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Cultural Center.
Very good.